The mystery is solved.
Canterbury Park Gardens.
Canterbury Park Gardens.
We're idiots.
Yeah, we're really dumb. And we live here, so we've got no excuse.
I've been here so many times. It's outrageous. Anyway.
You practically live here.
Practically live here is... no, because you've got Richmond Park the other way. And Richmond Park is a little bit... well, a lot bigger.
A lot bigger, yeah,
you know,
nice.
It's more like legit.
This is like
this
a strip of like... a strip of nature.
Yeah, and it's got like an area where you can go play like tennis and stuff way over there. And then there's a pub, and the pub's really nice, which is nice. And we had drinks there a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we just popped down and we drank, and we had a couple of beers.
We had a beverage. No, we didn't have beers. No. When do we ever have beers? We had Pimm's.
America, do we have Pimm's?
Yeah, we had Pimm's.
Oh, we had Pimm's. Oh no, I'm a woman.
You are a woman. Actually, it was funny. We were buying our drinks for Glastonbury today.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were trying to pick out what we wanted. To it like tactically.
Lots of cider.
And lots of cider. And I was
Pina
like,
colada.
What do you? I was like, oh, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, we've got to like plan this. And I was like, what am I saying? You drink like a woman.
I drink tasty drinks.
He enjoys women's beverages.
I enjoy drinks that taste good. What can I say?
You enjoy.
Like I don't like beer. Beer is like tastes like fucking sweat off a tramp's back, and it's just not very tasty in my opinion. But cider, pina colada, Pimm's, all of those delicious things that get you drunk and happy are very, very good. And when I drink lots of them,
there's boats coming.
There is boats coming.
Youths on boats, perhaps hoodlums doing crimes.
Give it a little bit of zoom.
That is some old school boating. What are the guys in red doing? They're just drifting.
I guess they're like...
an engine? They must have an engine.
I guess they rent out the boats and they're the safety guys? Or they're just taunting them, being like, haha, we have technology.
Your engines, you scrub set the paddle.
I don't know. But yeah, we wanted to make this video before we went to Glastonbury.
Yeah. We've been trying to make this video for the last, what, like nearly a week practically, like 4 or 5 days at least.
Which is actually one of the issues I've been having, which is basically I've been having issues and hiding from them like a big vagina. And I can laugh about it now, but it's actually kind of like a thing I need to get over as a person, is basically ignoring problems and hoping they go away. What happens is that, well, to go back in time, we had some electrical work done on the flat.
Well, not the flat, on the block.
On the block. And apparently it was a small problem that became a big problem, and it wasn't really fully explained to us what happened. We could inquire, but we don't really care.
We were like, is it done? And they were like, no.
It was like 4 or 5 days of them like mucking about with electric, and the problem was they didn't start until late, so it wasn't the case of them coming in the morning, disturbing us, and then we could get on with things in the evening.
Yeah, it was going on until like 6.
Well, they didn't arrive until like 4.
Yeah.
And they didn't get going properly until 5. And they're doing it in the evening for some reason. I don't know why. When everyone's home. But
yeah, so it was really affecting our ability to.
But that knocked us out for like 5 days, I think.
I think it was more like 3 or 4 days, like a proper. But the trouble was we weren't 100% sure when it was done, and we didn't want to have the PCs on and then have them getting turned off.
Well, they said to me, like, I asked, like, is it okay if I have like, I mean, is the power going to get cut? And they were like, yeah, probably quite a lot. Yeah. And they were right, it did. But
it was just a pain. But anyway, that got done, and then Fred got the flu, and then
I got the flu proper.
And was actually really ill.
I was actually really like the most sick I've been in quite a long time.
Yeah.
And then I got better after about a week. And I'm surprised I got better that quickly, but I just suddenly woke up one day and I was great.
You were like, I'm a person again.
And that exact same day,
I was like, you know, and you start going like, oh, my throat's a bit scratchy.
Yeah.
Oh, babe, you got any tissues left over? And I...
Just to pause.
New boats.
Anyway, yeah, I could do better than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Emily got sick.
Yeah.
Which meant we couldn't stream, and the stress of not streaming, and like, because when you're streaming, you're self-employed.
Yeah.
And when you live in the real world, you need money to pay for things like mortgages and food and nice things like
bills
that.
And
yeah, you need to pay for internet. So like, it was very much a thing where we live very frugal lives, and we can actually go for a few weeks without having to worry about things like that. Because, well,
yeah, we're careful, you know.
Yeah, we're really careful.
We'll spend our money on, like, we went on a holiday, we spent some money on that, but other than that, we don't buy a lot of clothes, we don't...
Cheapest chips holiday there.
We don't, yeah, it was so cheap. We don't buy a lot of clothes, we don't do a lot of expensive trips anywhere, we don't really go out drinking very much.
No,
like, anything like that kind of, we don't go out for meals a lot. Occasionally, we're trying to do that a little bit more now.
Yeah, usually when we order food, it's usually you guys on Treat Stream, which needs to stop.
So yeah, you basically...
I basically got, I don't know, like, what happens is sometimes that you'll be on your computer and you get like notifications on your phone of people being like, oh, when you're streaming next. And when I was sick, I felt like I let the side down completely. I felt like I ruined everything that because we'd already taken some time off because of the building work, the electrics.
So you were like, fuck, and then I got sick,
and I was stressing out about it in quiet. I was like internalizing it.
That's the worst thing.
I wasn't talking to you about it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk.
No. I was kind of like, you're sick, that's fine, you can't work, we'll wait. So then I got sick, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna stream through it. I'm like drippy and disgusting, but it's fine. We've streamed sick before.
The problem is that I stopped talking.
Yeah.
That meant that Emily stopped talking.
Yeah.
Because when the communication is two-way, you don't talk at a wall. We bounce off each other. We're a team and we work together. And if I'm not talking to Emily, then she doesn't really have the incentive to talk to me either. So then the exact same thing happened to you, I feel.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I was kind of like, oh, we should stream. And you were like, babe, you're sick. Take a couple of days. It's not the end of the world. And I was properly sick. I spent the whole time in bed. And
your flu lingered for a bit longer than mine as well.
And you were right. Like, I did need to take a little bit of time. I wouldn't have been well enough to stream. It would have been miserable to watch. I'd have been gross.
And also, it's not fair on either one of us to stream whilst the other one's sick, because it's sort of like...
Well, we've done it before, and we'll do it again, undoubtedly. But when you're properly ill, you should be in bed and you're running a huge fever. You know, we've done it in the past, but whatever. So, you weren't talking. I got more and more stressed.
Yes, because I wasn't talking about it and you wasn't sure what was going on. Yeah,
and I was like, does this not bother you? Are you not worried? Are you not stressing about the lack of work?
I was like, and basically I stopped. The worst thing I did was basically I stopped acknowledging it. I stopped making it a thing in my mind, and I just basically distracted myself with things. And I'm really bad for that. And I thought I'd gotten over it. I thought I'd gotten better than that. And it's a thing that I've had since I used to have really extremely bad social anxiety when I was younger. Like when I was even 24, 25. And really awful social anxiety. And I used to basically ignore things and pretend like they weren't issues. And basically sacrifice all sorts of manner of things just because it made me uncomfortable and feel bad. So I had Emily stressing out, and I had people on Twitter being like, oh, when are you going to stream next? And people having conversations with each other on Twitter about me and why we're not streaming. And I already felt like I let the side down by not streaming because I got sick, and also electrics and various things. And I just sort of like retreated into a little cocoon of ignoring the problem, which is very not good.
So then I sat down with you and I was like, what the fuck
You're like,
are you doing?
Oi, prick.
What is going on?
Yeah, no.
Seriously.
And I actually took a couple of talks. Because the first talk you sort of had to crack the shell, and the second one you got it open. And then
all the gooey centre flowing out.
Yeah, but the thing is though, I knew that by me not streaming, but by me not talking about streaming and not acknowledging it and not replying to tweets and pretty much just kind of like being embarrassed and feeling like an idiot, and not an idiot, but feeling like
you disappointed people.
I disappointed people, and I felt like a coward, and I was ashamed. And I got so ashamed that I did things that were even more shameful, and it just becomes like a vicious cycle of basically putting my head down and being like fuck, and then it was just not very good, and it's something I really need to work on as a person.
And that was the first kind of couple of weeks that we were away.
Yeah.
And so then I sat down and we had a big chat with you, and I kind of said, look, I'm really trying to keep my head above water here and not to be freaking out about this, but I'm really struggling. Like, I'm really stressing out, I'm freaking out, I want to be working, I'm a very kind of driven...
Yeah, you're
I'm a very driven person. I like to be busy, I like to be working. Don't get me wrong, I also love to lay in bed. But when I'm not doing productive stuff, when I feel like I'm wasting all my time, it stresses me out a lot. So I had a big conversation with you, and I said, honestly, I'm feeling really shit.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter was that, I mean, the last couple of years have been incredibly stressful. We have, and it's something we haven't really talked about.
No, I found out a few things about my family recently that have sort of put a lot of extra stress on me. Like, I found out someone in my family has begun cutting. My brother's having all sorts of family issues, which don't really affect me directly, but sort of are...
It's still stressful stuff.
It's still stressful stuff, and like stuff with like my niece being chucked out of school, and she's only 14, and just stuff, like basically a lot of like things going on in my family. And a lot of it's been depression, and that's one thing that you suffer from quite badly.
Yeah, and I have
you go through phases of it.
I have done for a really long time, since my kind of teenage years. I mean, I've not really ever spoken to friends and family about it very specifically, but I don't think anyone who knows me well would be terribly shocked.
No.
It's just one of those things. I kind of, sometimes you have to write it out, sometimes it can be really difficult. It's affected me considerably through pretty much all parts of my life, especially when I become stressed.
But for you, it's not really it's not a situational depression. It's just, you know, it's chemical.
Yeah, no,
That's the problem. It's just an imbalance. Yeah. Because you're always like, I think the thing that stresses you out is that you sit there and you're like, I have no reason to be sad, but I'm sad. And that makes you sad.
And that makes it worse. You know, you're thinking like, my life is fucking great. I live with someone that I love. My life is awesome. I get to stream. I get to hang out with you guys. No, I genuinely, my life has never been this great.
No, mine, yeah, same.
There's always going to be stresses, you know, and then as I said, the last couple of years have been very stressful. Stuff with lots of stuff going on with my family. Look, I've lost several relatives. You've lost relatives. I've lost pets. So many funerals. Awful. And it just got to a point where I think the stress kind of built up, and I realized I needed to make some really significant changes about the way that I reacted to the world around me and I was treating myself, because I was just miserable. I was just, I wasn't liking myself. I wasn't happy. Nothing I did made me feel satisfied. And this little stressful couple of weeks really kind of nailed it down for me. And I was like, fuck, we've got to make some changes. Yeah, because this is not the way to go forward.
We had a talk, and there were tears, there were emotions, and no, it was actually quite emotional. It was it was a proper like fucking like to the heart talk. And I'm not. And in this video, we both talked about it. We both said that we're going to be absolutely truthful.
Yeah, like just be straight.
It's because of you guys that we can do this as a career, and like, well, you know, streaming as a career. I've been doing it recently because I've been a pussy. But I'm not saying I'm, you know, obviously I'm not entirely to blame.
No.
You've taken as much blame as me, I think. Personally, like obviously I blame myself more and stuff like that. But I feel like we've both sort of like taken it up on our shoulders and been like, right, we both have issues we need to work through. And the depression's really hit you hard, especially with motivation recently. So we said we're going to be honest, and we are being honest. We've been really working hard, and we've basically taken like the last, what would you say, like 10 days? The hell's that smell? We've taken the last 10 days to basically,
actually maybe a little bit longer than that,
about 2 weeks then, to become better people. And I basically decided that the puppy, sorry, and there's loads of distractions right now.
Talk.
I've basically taken it upon myself to basically force myself to become a better person. I did it once before when I basically got rid of my social anxiety and was able to talk to people again. And I decided to do it again with basically my issue of facing problems and realizing that if I let people down, that's not the worst thing in the world.
It's not the end of the world, and you can pick up and you can sort it out. There's no point
just by talking to people and letting you guys know that we were going to be AFK and stuff like that, rather than like ignoring it and like basically being so terrified of even facing my issue that I basically cocooned myself. I decided that I need to force myself to be better, and that's why I tweeted out last night being like, sorry guys, I know we've been away. You guys are so nice. No one really gave us a shit. One of the main
things we want to say in the video is that we are genuinely incredibly sorry. Not only that we weren't around, because honestly I think us not being around has in the long run been good for us. We've definitely kind of got ourselves on a better track.
Yeah.
And we're really working on ourselves. But also just that you guys were reaching out, you guys were saying, are you okay?
You guys were genuinely worried. Are you
safe? And we weren't replying. And we should have been. And every time
I'm sorry.
We haven't.
I'm sorry, you have to just what the hell?
This team is letting everyone down.
Yeah, this team's shit.
Shh, don't say it too loud.
It's just
okay.
Trying to have an emotional discussion with our viewers right now. Fuck.
I know. So basically, for one, we're sorry. We're sorry that everyone that we ignored, everyone that reached out a hand to us and we didn't grab that hand. We're sorry. Basically,
I'm genuinely ashamed.
Yeah.
Like I am, and I need to basically. And if it wasn't for Emily, I basically would have completely receded into the shame cocoon which I've been in, and maybe I could have just like fucking, I don't know, done something very bad. And but because streaming is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Like Daisy streaming and like you guys and everyone who subscribes to us, who helps us like live the life we live, and everyone who like supports during the streams and like is like, oh man, you guys are cool, here's $5. It means the world to us. And for me to basically not give it the respect it deserves, and to not give you guys the respect you guys deserve, is really bad.
Giving you like a mild break is that streaming, whilst amazing, is probably one of the most stressful things that goes on in our lives, purely because you know, you're self-employed, you're working from home.
Yeah, you are, and you're completely self-motivated.
Why was yesterday better than today? Why, you know, what did we do? Was I funny? Did I overstep the line? Was I thankful enough? Was I, you know, and you're getting messages from people being like, blah, 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 drama, 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 and you're like, oh my God.
You do get a lot of messages from people like, so-and-so said something about you, how do you feel about that? And you're like, and you say like, I don't know and I don't care, but you do kind of care. Yeah. You want people to like you, it's human nature.
Carrying around a lot of tension.
Yeah.
Where streaming should just be entertainment. It should be.
And that's what I'm kind of like trying to like, why I'm being so genuinely all the way honest, because a lot of people are gonna watch this, and I know a lot of people are gonna watch this and be like, what the fuck, you guys don't really have any real problems. Why the hell are you guys like, you stream for a living, that's like my dream, and yet you guys are like struggling, what the fuck? And true. Absolutely true. Like I have no excuse, and that's one of the things I need to sort of get over, is that I have a really awesome life, and I have a really awesome wife, and I have a really awesome job, and I get to basically I don't have to wake up mega early because I don't stream mega early, and I hate waking up. It's horrible. And but yeah, like I have a really awesome life, and I really enjoy it, and I really enjoy hanging out with you guys, and I really feel like we have a pretty good connection with our viewers. But I just got into this cycle, really bad cycle, and Emily got into a depression, which meant that I had to sort of take the reins a little bit.
It was kind of the first time that's happened. Usually it's me being like, right, we can fix this shit, we can sort this out. And it was kind of the first time that I was like, I can't do this, I don't know how to help, I'm stuck. Like I'm feeling way